Hi, this is Harry from Hasbro TV back with another match review video. So Tottenham Hotspur 1, Newcastle 2. Let's talk about it. First of all, the starting lineup. Brandon Austin got his first start in goal. Some people have actually been calling for it because obviously Forster's not got a great reputation. He's a lot older. He's probably going to be let go next summer. And Austin starting, probably something some people probably wanted. So he started in goal. To be fair to him, he didn't have actually had a bad game. I thought he played quite well. I mean, despite conceding 2 goals, but I don't think that was totally his fault anyway. And Dragusin started with Gray. Dragusin came off late at half time because apparently Andrew says he was ill. I don't think Andrew would lie about that, to be honest, at least. And obviously Porro and Spence were the fullbacks because Udogie's out for like a long time. And the midfield consists of Kulusevski, Bergvall and Sarr. Bergvall was kind of the deeper of the midfielders. I'll go on to him in a minute. And then the strike force consisted of Johnson, Werner, and Solanke out front. So Spurs actually took the lead for a cross from Porro straight to Solanke within the first 5 minutes, but proceeded to concede a goal within 2 minutes later. But for me, it was just poor play again. Getting players like Gray and Dragusin, as we all well know, cannot play out the back, right? It's probably one of his biggest weaknesses as a defender, despite being a good defender in the sense of like he can head the ball, he can tackle. He's really good at those sort of things and get rid of the ball, but playing out from the back is not his thing. Gray isn't a sense of the half if you talk to half our fans anyway, or most of our fans. So trying to get these players, and especially Spencer's playing on the left instead of the right, trying to play out the back is going to cause problems. And this is how we conceded both the goals, really. The second goal wasn't as much so that, but again, we were too easy to play through. And we don't, I mean, Bergvall's playing, I say, as a number 6. And I'm going to contradict myself a bit, but I'll kind of make it a bit clear. He's not number 6, and this is not in my sense. We badly need a strong midfielder, and kind of like when Spurs signed Palacios a few years ago. We need someone like Palacios or Sandro or Parker or something like that, because we were losing in midfield battle today, easy peasy. Tonali, Gomaresh and Joelinton was just roasting us in midfield. Kulusevski, to give credit to Newcastle in this respect, with Eddie Howe, whenever Kulusevski got the ball, there were 3 players around him. They nullified us. Howe obviously did his homework and he thought, you know, Kulusevski's Spurs' most attacking threat, let's stop it. You look at the front line, Johnson was crap. Werner was embarrassing. If I'm being honest, embarrassing. I kind of felt sorry for Solanke because he got his goal for the first time in like ages. He got a cross into the box where he could actually head it, where it makes you think, right? Porro especially is probably our best cross of the ball in the squad, arguably. He finally gets a chance to put the ball in. He should be playing, in my opinion, higher up the pitch anyway, Porro. But like, I just don't get it. I do not understand it. And the second half, okay, we were 2-1 down at half time. Some people are saying we played well in the second half. We didn't really create anything. I know Johnson hit the post after Sarr's shot. And I think we had another chance. But in general, Solanke, I think, had 1 chance, apart from his goal, the whole game. And it's just poor. If you look at the stats as well, I think we had 2 clear-cut chances. They had 3 or something like that. So we didn't really create anything like that clear-cut. We was very pedestrian in the second half. I don't think we really create anything. And obviously, I'm going to give credit to Bergvall. And Bergvall was actually, well, he wasn't booed. Like, they booed the substitution and took off Bergvall for Maddison. Maddison came on and didn't really do much. But at the same time, he was so deep. How was he going to do anything? Because the fullbacks are so high up. And then, obviously, Dragusin taken off half-time. And Spence actually went into the middle. And to be fair to Spence, the centre-back, he probably isn't one. Actually did a decent job. And yeah, we didn't concede in the second half, which is, I guess, some sort of positive. But I think Newcastle kind of went 2-1 up and they thought, let's sit on it. And they just did the job on us. They just sat on it. And by the way, Newcastle's done a double on us for the first time in a bloody long time. And we tend to at least win the home game. And yeah, it's really poor. Werner, like I said, was embarrassing. He was jogging back. Johnson, embarrassing. I don't know how he lasted the 90 minutes. I thought he was one of the worst players on the pitch along with Werner. Like, those 2 were horrific. And Son came on, and despite the calls to bring him on, I don't think he impacted the game that much. He did a better than Werner, but the problem with Son is you can't give him 90 minutes, especially on the left wing nowadays. So he's not going to get much. And Solanke, I said, I feel sorry for him. The geezer had like no supply, and we finally got the supply in the first 5 minutes. The first cross I've seen us do in like 10 years. But you find he's got his goal. And like I said, I'm not even a big fan of Solanke. I don't think he's that good of a striker. I think he's kind of like good-ish. He's never going to be a top striker. He's going to be like the 15 goals. If we're lucky, he'll get 20, but I don't think he will. We're talking like 15 goal a season in terms of Premier League numbers, and he might get a few goals here and there in the cups, right? Here and there, he might get 2 or 3, and maybe that would take him to tally to 20 in all competitions. But if you're talking about a Premier League striker score 20 goals a season, Solanke ain't your guy. I know he got 19 last season, but he's not your guy. He's not going to get that consistently. And I think, but at the same time, we don't help ourselves. We're only given the right sorts of play. We were playing a bit more direct in some instances in this game, but like I said, whenever Newcastle broke, they had so much space. I mean, Gordon was in acres of space because obviously inverted Porro, and obviously Spence by default because he's right footed was always going to cut in and always going to invert naturally anyway, really, because he's playing on the wrong side. In the second half, when he didn't have to make that change with Jagusin, he put Reguilon at left back, and I thought Reguilon actually did all right considering he's barely played. And it makes you think that Ange could have probably used Reguilon and Spence, but especially Spence and Reguilon in some ways as well. They're both kind of ostracised by Ange for supposedly, I don't know what exactly, but he's not really on good terms with either of them. And I noticed Reguilon took a few like corners in the second half when he came on, which is quite interesting. Because it seems like he actually wants to play. Reguilon actually wants to play. And maybe if he'd used Reguilon and Spence earlier in the season, he might have not got the injuries to Dogi, for example, right? Because he just hasn't used them. I'm not saying it has to be his first choice, but they're still with the club. Spence actually got signed a new contract. Reguilon, I know you tried to get rid of him, but he's probably our most naturally left back apart from Udogie at the club, really. If I'm being honest, I'm one of the people who've been calling for Reguilon because I think he didn't get a proper chance under this manager. And obviously he's fallen out Maddison, which is why Maddison's on the bench all the time. And I know Maddison didn't do much when he came on, but again, the system doesn't play to his strengths. And I think Maddison even knows that. And I think the system's nonsense. I think actually it's nonsense. It doesn't even play to Solanke's strengths. It's just nonsense, man. It's nonsense. It just inverts everyone. And to me, the loss wasn't really a surprise. It's the same old Ange, same old tactics. I think Hal just did his job. And I think injuries is a lazy excuse because I'd have more sympathy for Ange for injuries if he adjusted the line, for example, the high line, or he adjusted the style of play we do with the injuries. So, for example, if you're going to argue and tell me that Van de Ven and Romero can actually play is like, say, not playmaking, like play with the ball playing centre halves, that's the right word for it, then you've got to tell me at the same time that Gray and Dragusin can't. So why make them do something they can't do? Again, we look at the fullbacks. I mean, they've been inverting them all the bloody time. For me, it's not effective. Maybe invert one of them because Spence is naturally going to invert, but Porro is clearly stronger playing wide. And it's been shown before at previous clubs. Like if Ange did his homework, he would have done that. But it's not just that. It's just like we don't have a holding midfielder. Both of our players in the 6, instead of the 10. He'd probably argue one of our best players today. I mean, and it doesn't surprise me that they booed the substitution because he was the only one who seemed to show any sort of like spark, I guess is the right word. And I'm not a massive fan of Bobo. I don't think he's going to be. It's too early to tell, but I don't know if he's going to be like a top player. I mean, he just because we need so little to hold on to. That's what we've gotten. And the midfield was clearly missing 6. I mean, I said that earlier in this video, but this is what's hurting us as well because you need someone to, when the ball gets turned over. Bissouma, when he came later in the game, I thought he was poor. And he's not number 6 anyway in his defence, but he's one of those players where if he wants to play, he'll play. If he doesn't want to play, if he wants to play, he'll play, right? He'll be one of the best players on the pitch. If he doesn't want to play, you get practically nothing from him. Like I said, Maddison's non-existent. The midfield was a mess. And they nullified Kulusevski, which kind of killed us. And obviously Johnson had that chance when he hit the post, and I thought Johnson was poor in general anyway. So our midfield was an issue. The wingers were an issue. The defence, okay, was an issue on paper, but he didn't kind of try and alleviate the problem by maybe dropping the line, for example, because Dragusin naturally cannot play a high line. To drop the line, stop inverting the fullbacks, and maybe would have been a bit more compact, and then say leave like Kulusevski high up the pitch with Solanke and play actual wingers, then maybe we would have had a better chance. I know we only lost by 1 goal, and people always point out and say, "Oh, we only lost by 1 goal." And I think Newcastle just kind of sat back. They went 2-1 up and they just sat back, and they thought we can nullify Spurs. We can, like I said, nullify Kulusevski. We can see the game out. They have the defenders and the capability. They were time wasting. They were doing all sorts of dark arts, which is stuff we should be doing, I think, especially when we're winning by 1 goal away from home, trying to waste time. But Newcastle and Hull know how to get results, and the reason why they're higher up, more than higher up than us in the league. I wouldn't say they have such a massive distance and quality with us. Really, I think it's quite close. But our managers, there's a massive distance and quality of the managers. Right, Howe is like way better than Ange. Let's be honest here. Like there's no debate here. But it's just another game where Ange has been found out that, and I have no sympathy for him, like I said, because I don't see him adjusting to the injuries. So there's no point in telling me we have so many injuries because I don't see the manager kind of adjusting the style or the formation even, or even the play. Like I look at late in the game, I'm going to finish off with this. Lancashire was on the bench. I don't even think Lancashire's that great a player. Bring him on, at least with 15, 20 minutes to go, and go 4-4-2. Try something different and play longer balls. Because at least you have two like target men up there right, at that point, and maybe move Porro to the wing, but or do something different. It's just I'm watching the same thing every time, and this is why we're losing games. It's the 10th loss of the season. 10th. We're in double figures. We've lost half our games, 10 out of 20, and like I said, I think we're maybe on course to maybe even lose like 20 games this season because the way we're playing, I don't see where the next win's going to come from. Bear in mind, guys, we've got a cup game midweek, but also we've got Arsenal away in the Premier League next, and I think they're going to put about 5 past us. Anyway, Ange out.